Okay, so we got the cover off, and we got that stupid leaf net off. Not a big fan of those leaf nets. You really can only use them once a year, you know. It's like a fish net. It's not really. So we got a Lazy L pool, and we're gonna just kind of measure this thing up. It's gonna be a little weird, but we'll get her. So one thing I'm gonna have to do, we got two 1085 skimmers. We got no light. We got liner steps. I'm guessing there's gonna be a main drain down there. No low wall. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 return holes. But this one here looks cut out, doesn't it? Or not cut out, rather. Yeah, so that one's probably going to get eliminated. But we're still right. 5. 1 not cut out. Pump water to woods. 1 to 2 hoses. Alright, so now I'll go over to the Lazy L liner measure sheet that I can show the people. He gave me a freaking... Man, Jesse, come on. Alright. I was like, what? He gave me the wrong sheet. Alright, so the first important thing when you're looking at this is you look at the orientation of the pool and where this little L part kicks to. So when I'm looking at it, it's not the one as shown, which is the right Lazy L. It kicks off to the left. So it's very important that I specify that it is not the one as shown. Now, the next thing that it asks me is the corner type. Is it a square? Is it a diagonal? There we go. Now we can see what's going on. See, as shown, the pool is not as shown. This is left 90-degree diagonal radius. So here, it looks as if we have a 6-inch radius, but to really know for sure, you want to cut the liner just to kind of see what the corner is doing. Okay, so we also see that we have some brown foam in there. All right, so it's definitely a 6-inch radius panel. So we'll write 6-inch radius. All right, so now I have to go back to my lead page and just write brown foam. And basically people will know exactly what that means when you see brown foam on the walls. It means you have to bring some extra scrapers and things like that. So now we just need to kind of fill in all the blanks. You know, the vinyl works here, and Latham, New York gives you these liner measure sheets. I like these sheets. A lot of different liner companies have a lot of other measurements that they ask you to fill in. That gets pretty weird, but some of these cross diagonals now, they're hard to get, because now, especially at this pool, I want to point this out because it's hard. They want you to get cross diagonals from a 90-degree corner, and as you can see, the 90-degree corner of the panel is 6 inches down, because we have a patio on top of an existing patio, and so we'd almost have to kind of roughly figure out where that is, and a lot of times, you know, you get kind of thrown off on that, and your measurements aren't exact and what they should be, and so then they start drawing the pool funny, and that's how liners don't fit. So what we do is we measure all these perimeter measurements, and we say just draw the pool, and they'll just draw it up and come back, and that's what we go with. So we don't want to get too confused with certain cross diagonals. In some situations you can give them, but in some situations it's hard to do. So So what I'm going to ask Mason to do is take one end of the tape measure and go to the other side over there so we can try to figure out the width right here. Now what I need him to do is to make sure that he's putting his tape measure on the straight part of the wall and that his tape measure is making contact to the wall. So I have to sometimes ask him if he's feeling that he's making contact to the wall or if he needs to slide over a bit more. You're making contact to the wall? Okay. Well, I'm getting, now hold the tape measure right up here, buddy. A little higher up. Yeah, right up in there. That's the front of the tape measure, right? Yeah, right there. Hold it there. I just want to see the comparisons. All right. So it's looking like 20'3", but let's check the width in the deep end here now. All right, right around where that coping clip is. You see that coping clip? Yeah, hold it under that. Down low so you're touching the wall. Even go a little lower. Yeah, push in really hard. Yeah, 20'3". All right, so that's what we're gonna make it. So we'll write 20'3". And then down here we got 20'3". All right, so now you got your knife on you? No. Where's my knife? Down there? You can stay right there in that corner. So I'm gonna have you hold me. Let's see. As close to this seam as you can. Hold me like right in there. I gotta go this way. Let me just, everything's so rounded, so it's hard to like. All right, you there? Yeah. 8'2". I'm just gonna go with 8'2" because I like 8'2". All right, now we got to do going from that direction. So let me look at this. Oh, this is the one where we're actually ripping all this out. We're ripping this whole patio right out of here. Oh, and they did not want to do new lines, but they do want to do. You're coming right here. Cutting it out so you can see. Hold me right on there. Yep, on the straight part of the wall. So yeah, so we're ripping this all out of here. So I can do stuff like this, and it doesn't matter. You zoom in on this. Look at this pool's all loose. Look at this. I'm just gonna start taking these people's pool apart. Look, I mean, they didn't need this anyway, right? We'll just tell them it's broken and that it needs to be replaced. How could they possibly know that already? All right. 28-2. 28-2. Now I lost my pen during all that. During that fiasco, I lost my pen. Did it fall in the pool? It's hilarious. Somewhere I threw my pen and all that.
It's like under your foot.
Aha. Thank you. Thank you. All right. That was kind of funny, right? 28-2. These? Hmm. Just saying. All right. I'm going to, let's come over down into here. Let's see if we can get a little more destructive with this pool. Look at this. They didn't need, I mean, really, they didn't need any of this. Mason, go tell the customer that we have to replace their whole patio. All right, so here's this seam you can hold me on. I've done some destruction to this pool since I've been here. I'm just trying to get a head start on the project. Brown foam. This is brown foam. Zoom in on this stuff. Does that look like anything? It almost looks like the Texas Longhorn in a way. Big bite out of a cookie. Anyway, it's all coming out. All right, I see my seam now. So hold me as tight as you can to that seam. Yeah, 13-2. So everything's in increments of 2. However, the only one that was slightly different was the width. That equaled 3. All right, so now you got to go down to this one down here where she is. Look at this. But see, that's why I'm leery, Jess, of doing this on our pool, because bricks get loose. Yeah. But that's the thing. I mean, we're gonna be hauling these away. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, these ones, these big ones. Oh, those are nice. They would be perfect right around our pool. It's too bad they're not mic'd up right now. Actually, I think you're still picked up. So this will be a nice little video. We'll call the title of this video "The Wife Sees a Purpose to Repurpose." 33-2. All right, so like I said, so now what I need you to do is to go to that point right there, across from me. What did I say? 33-2, right? Because this is a cross diagonal. That's very important when you're measuring lazy L's. They need this one. So you're gonna hold. See where I cut the liner out? You can see the peak. Only right on the peak. And we're gonna call it 20 foot 10. So with those measurements right there, all right. So the width is 20 foot 3. So let me just point a few things out. Now I'll give this to Mason to wind up. I just want to. Here you go, dude. All right. So yeah. So like I was saying, we gave them all the perimeter measurements. We were able to give them this cross diagonal really good, but you know, these cross diagonals, hard to fill in the blanks. So we tell Vinyl Works, just take these numbers, draw up a lazy L, and we sign off on it. That's the way we go. So now we also have liner stairs here. So the liner stairs that are here, we'll have to make a whole separate page. So I'll write over, and then on the other side. Now the length here, I can't really give that measurement. So we'll just go, I don't know. You figure it out. All right. I don't want to flip over to that page yet. All right, so now I'm going to take my vac pole and I'm going to try to start. Oh, and that's the other thing. With the lazy L's, you can't really give them the shallow end measurement of the shallow. It's hard. We can't figure that out because it varies. But we can give them all the deep end measurements, and then they'll kind of just be able to figure things out. So on the drawing here on the lazy L, it shows that the break starts right on this point right here of the drawing. And if I was a gambling man, I would say it does not do that here. That it's actually kind of like how the rope eye is. So I kind of think that the rope eye is closer to where the break line is. All right, so I'm gonna take the vac pole. Mason, can you take tape measure and just let's assume that the top of the pool wall is right here. So hold it 4 feet out. We'll start there. So look at, oh,
See that spider?
do you see all the tadpoles?
Yeah, you see that spider?
What spider?
There's one moving around.
Where? Oh, him?
Yes, biggest spider I've ever seen. Can you not mess with him, please? Dude, are you kidding me?
He jumped right off.
Good. Even
I've seen bigger spiders than that. All right, so I'm taking my vac pole and I'm just taking a ride down the wall until I make contact. Hold it straight out. So Mason, so I like 4 feet there, which is common. So, and another cold tail sign is this pool is going to be nasty when we drain it. Oh, it's going to be nasty. All right, so we're going to say we're 4 feet. All right, Mason, do that on the side here now. Same thing, start with 4 feet. All these little tadpoles are going to be a little bit bigger by the time we come back here. All right, so we take our vac pole, take the end without interrupting the families. We just take a ride down the ramp until we make contact. I can kind of feel the bottom, hold it straight out. And again, it looks like we're 4 feet. So we're going to call these 4 feet side slopes. Now Mason, come over here to this side slope. We'll double check that side slope. All right, so we can confirm that there's no safety ledge on this pool as well. All right, so he's holding us roughly where 4 feet. Take my pole and let it ride down the wall. Make contact, level it out. Now it looks like we're slid out a little bit, but everybody could be in a weird spot. But I still like 4 foot there. So now that we've done that, we know that we have all the 4 foot side slopes. But I need to find my break line down there where the walk up meets the bottom of the floor. So I just take my pole and I come where I think the walk up is. Oh, you see that big frog? This pool is going to have a lot of stuff in it. All right, so I can tell you this pool has a big deep end. Yep. That's where we start to come up right there. I'm just feeling, I'm literally a blind man with his walking stick. I'm just feeling around. knowing that the pool is doing certain shapes. Obviously, it's a little wonky down there. All right. So if I was a gambling person, which I'm not really, and another way you can confirm your area is by trying to find that seam on the liner. Obviously, we can't see anything. I can't see a seam on the liner. Look at those little guys, though, huh? Anyway, we're going to assume that we're roughly in this ballpark. But what I want to do is I want to go kind of feel around on the other side now. So yeah, the deep end of the big square down there. So I take my pole. I'm just kind of feeling around. And if you want to know what it's supposed to look like, look at the print. The print will kind of, a lot of times if you're feeling rounded edges and weird things, well, then you need to drain the pool to measure it properly. So we're on the flat. So we're just gonna take a ride on the railroad until we feel the pole go up. And right about here, we're going up. So we're back up and we want to ride it back down. Come into our crease, which I believe would be somewhere around here. Now I might be able to see a liner seam here. No, I'm not seeing a liner seam there. But I do see that we're pretty darn close to the mark that I made over there. So that's reassuring, as always. Yep, we come up right about there. Okay. And then we'll do one over here for our 4 foot, so we have something to match off of. And that'll be right around 4 feet. So get the pole out the way for a second. Take the hard-on tape. You can put the soft bag tape down. All right, so let's measure for the 4 feet. All right, so it's actually right here. Cross that out. Hold me on that mark there. All right, so we're pretty darn close to 10 feet. And this is a good thing to point out. So to my mark is 10'4", but let's assume that my mark's not right. I wouldn't want to make the deep end of the pool bigger. I'm going to make it a little smaller because it's a round number too. So 10 feet. So that way our pad length would be 10 feet instead of 10'4". So now we'll hold on this mark. And we know that our rope eye here was our break. Now here's something to point out. A diving pool will always have a 14-foot walk up. Look, we're right there on 14. So that's what we're going to do. So we got a 4-foot back slope, a 10-foot pad length, and a 14-foot walk up. So after they draw the pool, they'll insert that deep end measurement into the pool. And then the shallow end will just kind of reveal itself as to what it is. So we'll remember all that. And now what we got to do is do the overall depth of the pool. So what I like to do in this situation is just kind of take my pole. And you could use one of those measuring sticks. But I'm down to the floor, to the water. So I'll take that. See, I'm just assuming that it's going to be an 8-footer. So, all right. So we got 66 inches. So to get to 96, we need 30 more inches to this point here. So I measure from the water up, and I'm getting 34 inches. So it's actually, you would assume it's actually a little bit deeper then, right? So in this situation, we got to reconfirm, because we don't want to just make it a deep pool. Maybe we'll go to a different spot. So it's not that much lower than that spot right there. So I mean, at best, It would still be 66. So here, take the pool now. So yeah, 66 plus 34. What's that total? 100 inches, right? And 100 inches is 8'3". So it's pretty safe to say that this pool is probably 8'3" deep. I mean, it was 20'3" wide. They were probably just digging threes that day, you know? We'll triple check things. We'll drop a tape measure down. Make contact, ride down. Maybe we lost an inch, so that would be 99 inches, which is 8'3". Well, let's check the depth right here, though, because we have such a big such a big pad length that our depth could be a little bit deeper or a little bit different here. So we'll come right to here, right to the top of that handle. We'll check that one more time. See if we're shooting 65, 66 inches, 65 inches. I feel pretty confident at writing down 8'3" on this pool. So let me come back over to the camera here. We'll meet over here in the shallow end by the stairs. You see my knife? Did I lose my knife again? I believe I did lose my knife again. It's probably sitting down somewhere. Huh. Weird. Oh, it's in my back pocket. Found it. Found my knife. Duh, Steve. All right, so we agreed to meet back over here so you can look over my shoulder while I finish this stage and try to get the best view you can here. So we confirmed that our overall depth was 8'3". We confirmed that our back slopes are 4 foot. Let me change this. 3 so we could make it 4 foot 1.5. 4 foot 1.5 inches. That evens that up to 12 feet. Because we wouldn't want to add all that extra 3 inches into the pad width. It was the same thing that I was explaining with the 14-foot front slope right here. Or the 10-foot, I mean. Where you don't want to make things bigger. Shallow end? I don't know. You figure it out. All right, so the wall height of the shallow end, we're going to determine after we measure the stairs. And if you can see this drawing real good, what we did here, trying to explain this again. It's a good chance that this back slope could be 4 foot 1.5 too, but I think we just keep it an even number and go from there. But apparently when they were building this pool, they liked doing things in increments of 3s and 2s. So all right, so on the back of this page, we're gonna make a drawing because I don't have any of these pre-made. So we have top of pool. Cue Bob Ross montage intro. Bob Ross. Happy little trees. Okay. All right, top of pool. So we got these are our treads. So we write treads. These are our risers. Now it's very important that I point this out. Your riser number must total your wall height, which is that other one that I left blank on the other side here. So top of pool, that's this measurement. Your risers must total that. Your treads and your setbacks must total the overall width of the stair here. So now what we do is we draw the stair out from this angle. come around. All right, and we write shallow, facing deep. All right, so now this is the pool wall. This is the start of our first step right there. And we have another. So we have 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. This is the pool wall. So from here to here is called a recess. That's a measurement that we got to give them. Now again, what I was saying, this measurement from here to here must total your treads, including the recess. So we also have a top step. So we write top step. We also got to give them the width of the stair. Stairs are centered in the opening, left to right. So these are all the measurements that we have to, now we have to fill in our blanks. We have to give them this measurement, all these measurements, and everything kind of has to add up. So that's where we are now. And luckily I can walk right down in here and I can get even more destructive with this tool and cut a bunch of liner out so that I can actually see what's going on. Okay. We're going to cut all that right out of our way. Oh, another thing I didn't point out. This diagonal right here, we write diagonal distance. The diagonal distance. I forgot to point that out. Now, some companies are going to want you to like draw a straight line here and give them these measurements. Luckily, VinylWorks doesn't do that to us, so that's why we work with them. But because they want to make our life easy as much as we want to make their life easy. But that's the relationship that we've had with the VinylWorks for such a long time, and that's why we work with them. Okay, so I'm getting 7 1/4 inch diagonal, and they're gonna know that that's a pretty common measurement. They save all their measurements, and again, everything's got to get signed off. All right, so let's do the width on our stair here. So make sure you're holding me right on the steel there. We'll check this in a couple different spots, but I guess the first step will be right in there. Typically, this is 8 feet. All right, so now I'm getting 8 feet. Now, here's the thing. I've learned that over the years, you make it exactly 8 feet, and when they go to make the liner, it's like made to those exact measurements. So I'm gonna actually make it 95.5 inches, just to give it a little bit of, so we got a little bit of room to play there, And our top step is 6-inch radius as well, 7 1/4 inch diagonal. So now we're gonna measure our setback measurement, which is going to be 5 1/4. And looks like this measurement is going to be 4 feet. So 5 1/4. So I'm guessing that these treads are going to be 14 1/4 inch. So let's take, this is great that we can get right in here to measure this though. Anytime you can really get in there to measure, yeah, 14 1/4. So these are pretty basic stairs that are, pretty stock measurements. There's ways to go onto the internet and like look up prints of stairs. I think cardinal steps is what they call Latham steps, but there's a way to get like schematics of these, so you can actually like cross-check measurements of the stairs, and what that'll do is you'll be able to kind of learn the manufacturers over the years, and you'll know that the certain measurements were always the same and things like that, depending on what area you're in. So obviously we got to make sure that all this is going to add up. So 14 times 3. What's that real quick on the math, folks? Anyone? 42. 42 plus the 5 on our recess gives us to 47, plus 1 quarter, 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 everything totals to our 48. So basically our 3 treads, our 5 1/4 inch recess, all totals the 48 inches. So now we go to our risers. We have our 4 risers, which we have to total our wall height, and then we have to confirm all that. And once that's good, we're good. We're measured, and we'll end up just leaving this pool as it sits, because this is what happens when you let me into your back. Hey, listen, this is what happens when you let me into your backyard.
Our backyard.
All right, so let's measure the top. Oop, let's measure our top step. Now we're gonna be doing new coping on here, so we know that we're not up here or any of that. We're going right to where the liner clips into the track right here. So I measure down. So it's looking like about 10 inches. So this one's about 10.5 inches. This one's about 10.5 inches. So now I made that cut, so I can kind of peel the liner back. I can see the floor down there, and it's looking like 8.5 inches. Well, that's a good question. Feels like a Mickey bottom. All right, let me come back up here. I'll just get my butt wet there. So I liked 8.5. I liked 10.5. I liked 10.5, and I liked 10. So the thing is when I total all that up, I get 38, 39.5. And I'm sure that when I go to measure the shallow end, so here's a spot where I can kind of slip my tape measure behind the wall to check. Sometimes things jump out at you when you do this. All right, so I'm on the floor. Yeah, see, even there, I'm getting like 41. So what I'm saying is, at best, I need all those numbers to total 40. And this is kind of where it gets a little weird. If you wanted to start bringing some of this stuff back that we're not using anymore, that'd be cool. Like the 4-foot level and what? Oh, jeez. What the heck? Zoom in on my face when I go. They're gonna need a new liner.
Good thing that's what you're doing.
All right, yeah, this is 40. So I need to make sure that all those numbers are adding up to 40. Yeah, that's the wife said. Who you might. All right. Well, here's what I'm gonna do. So when I was measuring on that side from the floor down, it was pretty darn close to 8 inches. So let me see what I'm getting on this side. I mean, the Mickey's kind of crumbled and doing weird things, but I could definitely add a 1/4 inch there. Look at the coping right here.
Oh wow.
That's because they built a patio on top of the patio. Don't do that. So this side's like 10 1/4, 10 3/8. I'm gonna add a 1/4 inch to the top and bottom, and so we'll make this. I mean, you know what? I'm just gonna go bold, make that 9 inches, and I'm gonna make this 10 1/4 inches, which will make this 40 1/4, which makes everything happier over there. So we can zoom in on the final measurements of the stairs. Got the Bob Ross tree. Oh yeah, I gotta sign it. And so that was the and the lazy L is all measured. That's it.